Welcome back to Nerd Threats, where anybody can be a kid. Today we're talking Marvel versus DC in the cinematic universe and the cartoon universe, or the cartoon movie universe. We're going to compare them and see what we think. Ike, you've watched like every Marvel and DC movie that's ever come out. Live action movie wise, who's pitting out the better movies?
Oh, Marvel by far. I've always preferred DC comics personally, but it seems like Marvel's just been knocking it out of the park, especially more recently, jumping into the more modern movies, mid-2000s.
Well, yeah, they've been knocked out of the park since 2008 when they first came out in Iron Man. That movie was like revolutionary.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking awesome. I think the most shit movie that Marvel has put out since they started putting out live action was Iron Man 3, though.
Iron Man 3 fucking sucked.
Trash. Dude.
The reason it sucked, dude, is they were like, we're going to take the Mandarin, a really cool, like, iconic Iron Man villain, and we're going to make him a white guy. And then he's not even actually the bad guy.
With a shit accent.
There's some other white guy who's actually the Mandarin.
Yeah.
It's like, his name is the Mandarin, dude. It does not get more stereotypically Asian than being called the Mandarin. It'd only be worse if he was like the Chinaman or
the white guy with the Fu Manchu.
This is our main villain. His name is Ching Chong.
Ching Chong Bing Bong.
Yeah, that was probably the worst one that they came out with. All of them are really good though. I mean, Thor Ragnarok was good. I thought Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was good, but it was not near as good as the first one. I thought it was lacking in comparison.
It definitely was. I mean, going for ego and then contorting the character that much was definitely more of a DC move. I feel like they pulled it off better than DC, though. I mean, realistically, like, the action, the comedy, and everything mixed in there was still solid.
It was entertaining, and as a standalone movie, it's like still a pretty good movie. But like comparatively to other movies in the MCU, like it's just not as good.
Yeah, they definitely could have done a lot better.
I'd rank it like right above Iron Man 3.
Yeah, for sure. Musically, I feel like they still knock it out.
They always kill it. Like, whoever is in charge of soundtrack for Guardians of the Galaxy movies, it's always on fire. As soon as they put out the first Guardians trailer, and it was like, I'm hooked on a feeling. I was like, I don't even fucking like Guardians, but I'm gonna go watch that movie.
Right. Fuck, dude. I was never huge into following Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, nobody was, dude. You could have picked up like any issue of Guardians of the Galaxy before that movie came out for like 99 cents, dude. They were super B-list.
Yeah.
Now you could not pick up one for like anything less than like $50.
God, dude, no shit.
They put them on the map, dude. Like, that's one thing I like about Marvel compared to DC movies, because DC movies, they always do like the big names. They do the Superman movies, and they do the Batman movies, or the Wonder Woman movies. And DC's like, what if we did a Captain Marvel movie? Or what if we threw some Adam Warlock in there? Or some Guardians of the Galaxy?
I hope. I'm super fucking hopeful that they pull Adam Warlock for. I mean,
they're gonna have to pull.
Logically, you would fucking have to, but you never fucking know. You never know. You know.
Well, they're gonna have to, at least for that movie, because he's super like quintessential to the Infinity War like story.
Yeah, but man, I'm surprised that there's no like.
I thought the after credit scene for Infinity War was going to be him.
Yeah.
I was surprised that it was Captain Marvel. What about DC, though? Is there even a good DC movie?
Honestly, the Christian Bale Batmans were probably some of the better ones. I like the story. Like, I think the worst Christian Bale Batman movie was
Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah. Dude, with Bane was... I mean, Tom Hardy is like one of my favorite actors of all time, and Bane not being a luchador.
Yeah, well, they were like, oh, let's do Bane, and I was like, oh, sick, and they're like, we're gonna cast a white guy, and I was like, there's normally that doesn't bug me that much, but I was like, his whole thing is that he's a luchador. Where's this like a luchador mask?
I was kind of hoping for like the luchador mask at least.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw the pictures released of that fucking like breather.
The fucking asthma inhaler that he had to wear.
I was like, that's cool, but like have a mask underneath.
Well, what
that.
also bugged me about it is the fact that he didn't use the serum to become stronger to be able to kick the fuck out of Batman.
No
He just did it
fucking
naturally,
shit.
and that's like a huge part of the character. It's another problem that DC has, but they're like, we should make a movie, but let's not read any of the comics before we make this movie.
Dude, fucking horseshit. That definitely pissed me off. It was like, oh, he's just naturally fucking King Kong, and it's like, realism wise, sure, that's kind of logical, but at the same time, like, this is supposed to be a fucking comic book movie. Please, God, let this be.
Yeah, that's almost the
somewhat
problem with the
comedy.
Christian Bale movies. It's good that they set it in reality. I like that. Like, they made it more realistic, but it's like you still have to make it a comic movie.
Well, that's the thing is, like, Joker, okay? Heath Ledger was fucking tits. That was the best fucking, in my opinion. And I am a huge Heath Ledger fan. I always was. Dude, I grew up on his shit. So I was always a huge fanboy anyways.
Bet you did. Brokeback Mountain.
Dude, yeah. Oh my god. Jerked off to that so many fucking times.
Dude, minus the gay scenes, still a good movie.
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
I
me neither.
I watched it because I was
heard
like, I want to
some
see what the
laugh.
hype is about. And I was like, well, I already saw one gay scene, so I might as well push through. So I just watched the whole thing, and it was actually pretty fucking good.
Dude, so one of my buddy's dads, who's Mormon by the way, referenced the movie one time when I was a kid, and that was the turning point of my life where I was like, well, I'm definitely probably never gonna watch that movie, because like we were out camping, we were out hunting in the middle of winter, and we were fucking freezing our dicks off, and it was up in the mountains, and I don't remember what we were doing. We were fucking around out with just hiking up the mountain looking for deer and shit, and I was carrying a gun, and I was like, dude, my fucking lips are super chapped. And his dad stops and like turns and looks at us. He's like, got a pretty mouth.
Got a purdy mouth.
And I was just like, what the fuck? And he's like, no, you didn't catch that reference? So he explained it to me, and I was like, oh fuck. Oh god, nope, definitely gonna avoid that shit. Like that seems like something I don't want to see.
So what about the older? Because Batman was like pretty much the only DC movies coming out besides Superman movies. But like Batman was like the big ones where like one with a new Bruce Wayne was coming out like every 1 to 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had like Michael Keaton, and you had George Clooney, and you had Val Kilmer. Who was the worst like casting of Batman? Because like every time they cast someone in the MCU universe, I'm like, and then I see him like, yeah, that was a really solid casting. But every time they cast a new Batman, I'm like I'm never like sold. I'm like, he's good, but there could clearly be someone better, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah.
Christian Bale was a good Batman, but he was a shitty Bruce Wayne. George Clooney was a shitty Bruce Wayne and a shitty Batman.
Yeah. I personally didn't like Clooney's Batman.
Dude,
I
nobody
did
did.
not.
It's considered like the worst Batman movie.
I-
Which I still have a special like spot in my heart for it, because I remember when they bust out of the thing and they're like, we're gonna snowboard down all these fucking roofs to catch Mr. Freeze, and they were snowboarding, and I was like, this is the best movie ever. And then
Yeah.
after rewatching it, I was like, this is absolutely the worst movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, growing up with that shit, watching it, having those be like the iconic movies for our childhood and stuff, it does have that certain, reminiscent special place in your heart. But like at the same time, God, those movies were absolute fucking garbage. They were so trash. But I still say that Clooney was the worst overall.
It was
Like
the worst.
personal preference wise, not even going off like stats, but personal preference.
Well,
wise,
also what bugs me about that is they're like, we're going to put Robin in it. He's the boy wonder, but we're going to hire Chris O'Donnell, a 30-year-old man.
Dude, all of the Robins were Nightwing age.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
straight up.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, dude, it's like...
Well, we don't know,
Yeah.
but we know.
Yeah.
We know they just never made it, but Which he was like perfect age. Like if they had been like, oh, like he's Nightwing, I would have been like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Like he's perfect age for that character. He's got a similar build. Like he could pull that off in a movie, I think. But then he's like, oh yeah, like my real name is Robin on my like records or some shit, and I was like,
Fuck yourself.
that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. That was trash.
So you weren't really old enough to remember the Michael Keaton movies coming out, and neither was I. T-Os was like the only one old enough to remember those coming to theaters.
Yeah, buddy.
Did you actually see him in theaters?
No, I wasn't old enough to be into Batman yet. I was still doing the Power Ranger shit.
Oh,
But-
speaking of fucking Power Rangers, dude, are you guys hopeful that they'll make a second one?
Kinda.
Side note.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I've only seen bits and pieces of the newest one, and even then I was like, yeah. Even though I know the one that came out in 2000 fucking sucked, it's still like my favorite one.
Dude, no shit. I loved that movie growing up.
Watched the fuck out of that.
I feel like there's potential there.
There's potential.
I'm hopeful.
That's how I feel every time a new Batman movie comes out. I'm like, oh, that's potential.
True.
And then every time
I still think the Tim Burton ones were the best. They were just darker.
I love
yeah.
the Tim Burton ones.
I mean, once
Which one?
Michael
Is it
Bay
the
started
one-
directing them and shit, it was like, okay, explosions. Okay,
he has the one with
explosions.
Penguin and Catwoman. What's the other one that he did?
With the Riddler.
Oh, with Jim Carrey
Yeah.
and fucking
Batman Returns, and Batman Forever.
dude,
What did he
Batman.
do Forever too?
I think so, didn't
I think so. Because Batman Forever was the
Riddler.
suits with the nipples, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the
nipple
George
suit.
Clooney one. No, that wasn't the Riddler one. The one before that was the one with Jim Carrey. I thought Jim Carrey was a great Riddler
Oh
though.
yeah, dude.
Jim
Killed
Carrey has been one of my favorite actors. Like I base my life off of his movie personas. Like I swear to God, I've always tried to be Jim Carrey in his movies.
I always thought that they should cast him in a DC movie as the trickster from The Flash. I thought he would be perfect for that role.
yeah.
Which is like a super unknown character, which is what DC needs to do. They need to start bringing in B-list characters to their movies and make them A-listers.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that a Teen Titans movie has not come out yet blows my fucking mind.
Aren't they doing that live
They're
action?
doing a TV show.
Oh.
It's on the CW, so it either has the potential to be really good or really shitty.
I usually like the CW shows.
I thought they did a pretty good job of the Arrow and Flash. Those are really good shows.
There's some castings that are tight, and then there were some that were just sloppy and shite. But I feel like overall their character development is good on the CW, so it should be mediocre.
And it'd be pretty good. I don't know. I still want a movie though. And I still want to see a good Robin casting in a movie.
Dude, they definitely.
I just want to
do.
see a good casting at all
Yeah.
in a DC movie.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, dude, it's so fucking disappointing being a huge DC fan and just getting fucking shafted the last like 15 years. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's fucking great, dude. That's awesome. Straight shit.
Well, it's like, and it's so disappointing because they do so good with their animated movies. They're all
And their TV
amazing.
series are usually pretty
And their
good too.
TV series, dude. When Teen Titans was on Cartoon Network, dude, that was like the show that got me into comic books. Was the original Teen Titans, not Teen Titans Go, which can suck my dick. But yeah, the original Teen Titans, dude. They had a great story development, dude. There was like good fighting. It was drawn well. Everything about that show was solid. And the old Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, they were super good.
Yeah, dude, I love that shit. Like, Teen Titans, the original, was sick as fuck. I'm still hopeful that they'll try to redo Young Justice.
Dude, even, Young Justice
That
was
was
good all around.
amazing, dude. Tad, did you ever end up watching that?
No.
Oh, dude, I think they're bringing it back for a third season. Because they only did the 1 and 2.
I heard, like, that they got enough on the petition to redo it for the third season. But we shall see. Because there's been petitions that have passed and then never come to any fruition.
Well, they might bring it back and fuck it up like they did with Teen Titans, or like they're trying to do Thundercats right now.
Well, they already had some pre-released drawings.
Well, I saw some pre-release
Nightwing,
drawings of like Red Hood and Red Arrow and like
Nightwing,
Starfire and
Arsenal.
some really sick ones, but
Yeah.
I haven't heard much from it yet.
Yeah, they did. Raven's new costume was sick as shit too. It was more modern.
Whose new costume?
Raven. On the
yeah.
pre-release drawings, there was like the Raven costume was like winged and shit. Like it had feathers on it and stuff. It was tight.
Who do you think was the best casting for a villain in any live-action movie? Tias, what do you think is the best casting for a villain that you've seen in a movie? Best and worst.
Best and worst. I have to say best is Danny DeVito as a penguin. There was no one else in the world that could do that role.
No shit.
No one else
That's
in the
because
world.
he's actually shaved like a penguin.
Yeah,
in
no,
real
they
life.
didn't even have to put him in costume. They just rolled him out on set and they're like, okay.
They gave him a
White
beak nose.
That was about it.
That was it. Beak nose, a
Fucking
little bit
blasted
of
him
pointed
with white paint and we're like, good to go.
ears. Yeah, they put some rubber on his nose and his ears and then just fucking spray painted him. Call it a day. Took 5 seconds to fucking get him in costume.
And he played it off really well.
Dude, yeah, he was fucking perfect. Like, I always forget about him until I throw back and watch some old school shit.
Yeah,
and I'm
dude.
like, dude, that was fucking tight.
That was a way good casting on that part.
That movie was fucking wild.
Who's the worst that you've ever seen? Marvel or DC? Give me one bad Marvel and give me one bad DC.
Bad DC.
You got a lot of options with bad DC.
Fuck.
Swing in the dark and complete strike.
I honestly don't like Schwarzenegger as Dr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze,
Yeah.
yeah. That was actually the one I was going to say.
Yeah. He didn't, I mean, it just wasn't right.
Honestly, Schwarzenegger
they
should
wanted a
not be
big
in a
badass and...
He
they
should
picked
not
the
be in a
wrong
comic book movie.
one. No.
And anyway, also didn't like who played Poison Ivy in that same movie. Was it Michelle Pfeiffer's?
Pfeiffer's.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
Whatever
was.
her name is.
Oh no, it was Uma Thurman.
Oh, yeah, the Eye Wrangler.
Michelle Pfeiffer's was Catwoman. She was good as Catwoman.
She did good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they were like, "That's cast Halle Berry in the Catwoman movie standalone," and I was like,
Shit.
"Or you could just use the one that actually worked."
No, I mean, I love Halle Berry, so I am still in love with that movie. Like, I pop
it's
wood
so
every
bad.
time I see her in that fucking tight little outfit. I'm like, dude, raging boner time.
Dude, that can only pull me through like 10 minutes of a movie, and then eventually the blood will go to my brain, and my brain will realize that this movie is shit, and I'm like, and done.
Dude, I would just beat my meat raw to that movie.
If I wanted to see Halle Berry, I'm sure I could just find some nude leaks. It doesn't make it a good
Yeah,
movie.
You can just
The
watch
Fappening.
Monster Ball and then see your
Monster
tits
Ball.
bounce around onto that old dude's dick. They actually had sex in that movie scene, apparently. I
Wow.
was like, shit. But I found about that way later on because I was like, I heard about something and then I looked it up on Google and then I LimeWired that movie. Definitely cranked it out to that too. Oh man.
What about you? Like good casting for a bad guy, bad casting for a bad guy.
Favorite casting ever, Heath Ledger. Just,
It was a good fucking Joker.
yeah, just the best fucking role, best cast. I
saw a
can't-
meme the other day that was like Heath Ledger clean and sober for 6 years.
Oh my god. Dude, that's fucking savage.
I was like, oh fuck, like, damn. They didn't even like fucking hesitate to pull the trigger on that one, dude.
Yeah, so Heath Ledger for sure, DC. Best Marvel, I would have to say Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
Yeah.
No, villain though. Only villains. Best villain casting for Marvel.
He's an anti-hero.
It's not a villain.
He does some pretty fucked up shit.
He did save the day though, so
Alright. Best villain casting for Marvel. Now I gotta think that one through a bit.
Was it
I would-
Francis? Where's Francis?
Fucking Ajax. Dude, there's the greatest memes coming from that movie after it released. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be great ones that come out now. The new ones out.
Right. I'm stoked to see that. But I would have to say favorite Marvel villain would probably be Helena from Thor Ragnarok. That was pretty
Dude, that was a good
fucking
one.
sick.
Yeah, that movie was like surprisingly good, which I thought it wasn't gonna be good because they had a new director on it from 1 and 2, and it was still, and it had a dope soundtrack. They're like,
It's
oh, he
soundtrack.
becomes like the official Thunder God, Led Zeppelin. I was like, oh, this movie's great.
Yeah, that scene was probably the most like boner-inducing scene of any Marvel movie ever for me.
Dude, is
I
there
was
a
just
movie
like,
that doesn't give you a boner?
yes! Huh?
Is there any movies that don't give you a boner?
The DC movies?
I was
The
about to say,
DC.
most any other DC movie.
I don't know, dude. What's her face as Catwoman in Dark Knight Returns was super great.
Yeah.
Shade. Absolute trash.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. for
Applause all
sure.
around.
God damn. I don't know. I hope DC pulls their head out of their ass in the next 2
Okay, here's what they need to
years.
do. They need to stop having Zack Snyder direct everything.
Fuck him.
That's
Fuck
what.
that
That's
guy.
like the solution right there. Because all the movies that he directs, I don't like.
He is not a director. He's just not a director. I don't know how the fuck that he has got that role.
Well,
he
even
must-
Michael. Hey, dude. I mean, Michael. If Michael Bay can fucking slide on through on Transformers 6 or whatever it's at now, I'm sure Zack Snyder's doing all right.
I mean, he's making money, but he's fucking the DC universe.
Well,
Like,
the turnout,
all
yeah.
fans.
It's just gonna make less and less people go to the next movie that comes out.
I've been more and more lax on like even wanting to go to the
On
movies
keeping up on
because,
it, yeah.
Like the only ones I get excited for are like Marvel or scary movies, like horror movies and shit. Those are the only 2 movies that I actually am like interested in. Super actiony ones like that Upgrade that's coming out.
Yeah, that looks sick.
That looks tight as fuck. Yeah, I mean, I fucking hate DC's cinematic.
Yeah, it's just not good. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call it a day and want to thank you so much for listening. And feel free to check us out at our website and download our episodes at nerdsrs.com. That's NRDSRUS.com. Also, you can find us on Facebook under the same name and on our Twitter at nerdsrs1. Feel free to send us a shout out. We're always looking for suggestions and things you might want to hear us talk about. But in the meantime, have a great week. Thanks so much for calling. Stay beautiful, stay classy.